putting yourself and your artwork out there only to get literally nothing in return for all of that hard work, it sucks. It really sucks. I've been there. I know what that's like, that infuriating, deep-seated exasperation, that just low curl of dread in your gut as you realize that maybe this career isn't for you. You're not cut out for this after all. Maybe all of this was for nothing and you'll amount to nothing. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I've been there. But before you admit defeat and throw in the towel, I want to share some advice on hopefully getting you out of that situation, on things that you can do when your art career isn't taking off. And thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. If you're going into building your art career with like no thoughts, head empty, just like you love art, you want to make it your job, and you have no idea how you're going to get there, what options are, what you're going to do, but you're just like, you're going for some stuff, you're trying some things. I have some bad news for you. That's probably not going to work. So when I first started my art career, I defaulted to a strategy that I use a lot in life, which is throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. I had displayed my artwork in galleries, in coffee shops. I was in a couple of commercial galleries. I tried art fairs. I got written up in some newspapers. I was posting on Instagram. I was doing all of these things, like all of this, like just all of the stuff that I could think of, I was trying out, right? And I really value all of those experiences. Like, they were informative, but it wasn't until I gained a really clear idea of the kind of art career that I wanted to have and started focusing in on very specific, like a narrow set of actions, that I actually started to see results. If you're unclear on the kind of art career that you want to have right now, that's fine. Throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks, try anything and everything you can get your hands on, but be very conscious of your preferences and the information that you learn about yourself along the way, right? Try a bunch of stuff, but be very conscious of what works for you, what doesn't, what you are naturally skilled at and what you aren't, what you enjoy doing and what you don't, and try and find like that handful of things to focus on. When you are going around directionless in your art career, when you don't know what you want, it's going to be very hard to succeed because you simply don't know what to do. Knowing what you want really is the necessary first step to figuring out how to get what you want. And there are so many different kinds of art careers out there. If it's not taking off for you right now, you need to ask yourself, do you know what you want? Like, do you have genuinely an idea, a very specific idea of where you want to be in 5 years, or where you want your art career eventually to take you? Do you want to work on children's books? Do you want to become a Twitch streamer? Like, what kind of things do you want? It's okay to be specific. And in fact, the more specific you are about your goals, the far better equipped you'll be to actually achieve them, because you'll have much more information. The second question that you should ask yourself when your art career isn't taking off is whether or not you're jumping the gun or getting ahead of yourself. One of the things that I see young artists especially do a lot is to kind of put the business career part first and then the art skills part second. And I'm guilty of this, to be fair, but I think it's really important to remember that the success of your videos, your TikToks, your job applications, your portfolio when you are submitting it to things, all of that is going to be very strongly affected by your art skills. I think it's unrealistic to expect to be able to develop a vibrant, fulfilling art career or make like 6 figures from commissions or 100,000 followers on TikTok if your art skills aren't there. And at a certain point, if you fail to pay attention to your art skills, it will start holding you back. Like, it will very obviously start holding you back, and you'll feel that. And I think it's really important to make sure that if your art career isn't taking off right now, to just double check with yourself that you are actually prioritizing your skills as an artist and your own creative fulfillment. Like, are you making artwork right now that you genuinely enjoy, that you feel creatively fulfilled by, that like fills your heart with just like that that really satisfying feeling of making something cool. If you're doing that, awesome. If you're not, start doing that. Like, start prioritizing your skill set, your abilities as an artist, and the business literacy, the marketing literacy, just all of the other stuff. Oh, hello. Sorry, my cat was on my desk. All of that stuff is important, but your art skills are always going to be the backbone of your career, and investing in yourself is likely always going to be the single most high impact thing that you can do. So when I was trying all of that stuff, right, when I was like doing all of the things and getting my artwork in galleries, etc., I got my artwork into galleries, and that worked okay. Like, I got into places that I applied for, which was awesome, but I skipped a bunch of steps. I wasn't focused on building a collector base or an audience of my own, and galleries are not like some magic pill for your art career. They're not some, magic bullet. You have to actually still do work on your own to cultivate an audience and build a collector base and nurture those collectors, those customers. And I just didn't have that knowledge. I didn't have those skills. And so what I got out of that experience was not nearly what I could get out now with the knowledge that I currently have, or at least with the direction, like with the knowledge of the mistakes that I made, at least. So right now in my art career, which I think is still very, very early on, like, I have my entire life ahead of me, I am trying to play the long game here. Right now I'm focused on mainly three things. One is to build an audience, because that is the kind of art career that I want to have. I like making video content. I like putting my opinions on the internet, as weird as that is, and I like telling stories online. I like doing that. So building an audience is really important. I also have found over time that building an audience simply opens up a lot of doors and makes your life a lot easier for the kind of stuff that I want to do. The next things are to really develop my skills and to build a body of artwork that is like stylistically or thematically consistent, or at least like isn't all over the place. I feel like my art right now is kind of all over the place, and that's holding me back from doing stuff like applying for art residencies or galleries, etc. And the kind of artwork that I was making when I was in galleries was abstract. It was acrylic. Like, it was a whole different ballgame to the kind of stuff that I'm interested in now. And right now I just have to spend a lot more time on developing my skills. And I think that is a totally natural thing. And I think those three goals are really like totally applicable for artists at any level, though depending on the kind of stuff that you want to do, you might be able to scratch out the audience part and replace it with networking, for example, depending on whether or not you want to go into the industry or have your artwork in children's books, etc. I think building an audience is a great, valuable thing for a lot of artists, but some people are just not cut out for it, and that's fine. That does not like rule out success for you, is what I'm trying to say. But before we get into the rest of this video, I do want to briefly thank the best sponsor ever, Squarespace. Do I even really need to say this ad read? You already know that Squarespace is my favorite all-in-one website platform, and that I've used Squarespace for years to run my own website and my online shop. And you've heard about them, like a bunch. You already know that Squarespace has award-winning templates, amazing customer service, and all of the features that you need to start displaying your work as an artist and selling stuff online. My personal favorite part about Squarespace is that they make selling products really easy. From digital products, they handle all of the download links, they keep everything secure, and for physical products, they have amazing integrations that make shipping stuff out, calculating sales tax, all that jazz way easier. Squarespace is really just the place to be. Their third-party integrations make it one of the most customizable website platforms out there. They're stylish, they're reliable. Really, what more can you ask? If you want to give them a try, go to squarespace.com/Kelsey Rodriguez and use code Kelsey Rodriguez at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I've used Squarespace for years. I cannot recommend them enough, and I think you should give them a try. So the next thing to ask yourself if your art career isn't taking off is whether or not you are actually doing everything that you can or should be doing. If you're immediately defensive and resistant to this question, if you're convincing yourself that you are simply just like, you're doing all the things, like you're doing everything you can, you're doing all of this stuff, there's no reason that you shouldn't be succeeding. I get your frustration, your anger, that's valid, right? I don't want to discount that, but that is simply not true. There is always stuff that you can be doing, stuff that you could be improving. And in fact, if you are feeling really overwhelmed and really frustrated and you're putting tons of energy into stuff that's simply not working, you should be doing other stuff. You should be really asking yourself whether you are spending your time on stuff that will actually make a difference. I'm not trying to say that you need to devote your entire life to your art career and building that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that what I'm actually trying to say is that you might simply be putting in more work than you have to because you're focusing on the wrong stuff. If you are trying to grow your Instagram or your TikTok account and you're spending like hours and hours a day on hashtag strategy, you're wasting your time. You just are. Like, you go on any of these platforms, their official FAQ pages, same with YouTube, like, the hashtag stuff, it doesn't make a difference. YouTube tags doesn't make a difference. I talked about this in my social media strategy video, but all of that, like, hacking the algorithm, like, finding that secret trick, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's not going to do anything for you, anything that really substantially matters anyway. And same with applying for jobs or getting in the art industry. A lot of it, unfortunately, really is about networking and making the right connections and gaining that knowledge on where to apply to. There's a good chance that if you're spending tons and tons of energy and your art career still isn't taking off, that you're probably devoting your time to stuff that just isn't actually worthwhile. I don't know what that individual thing is going to be for you, but try and identify the stuff that you're spending a lot of time on that just isn't working, and the stuff that you are spending time on that is working, and go from there. Oh, sorry. I have been sick for the past 2.5 weeks with the flu, and it's a nightmare. I am still recovering. My voice sounds very sketchy. That's on me. That's on me. Like, in my own art career right now, for example, there are a lot of things that I could be doing better. There's so many things that I could be doing better. That could be like a whole video, honestly. Like, things that Kelsey is not doing enough of, or things that Kelsey should be doing but isn't. And there's always going to be stuff that you can improve. And if you're going into your art career or really anything in life with just this really resistant attitude toward being objective and honest and self-reflective about the things that you can improve, you're probably not going to have a good time, and you're not going to be really fulfilling your true potential in life, is my personal opinion. Whenever my art career was not taking off, whenever I was not going in the direction that I wanted to go, the first question that I always asked myself was, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Like, it's not the algorithm that's at fault. I'm not gonna foist the blame onto someone else, something else. What am I doing wrong? What could I be doing better? Where am I slacking off when it comes to all of this stuff? And if there is one thing that I hope you take away from this video, I hope it's that attitude of just constant, consistent, gradual improvement, because it's really valuable. It has done so much for me in my life. Just the idea that there is always something that I could improve on. There's always something that I could be doing a little bit better. It's great. Yeah. The very last thing that I want to talk about, actually, the very last thing that you should ask yourself if your art career is not taking off is whether you are giving it time, whether you are simply just being impatient. If your art career is not taking off and you're doing all of the things, you're trying to consistently improve, the thing that I would ask you is simply whether you are being impatient, whether you are giving it the time that it needs to actually take off, because these things, they simply don't happen overnight. It takes a lot of time to get to be where you want to be, and you are going to be an artist for the rest of your life. Like, you have years, hopefully, ahead of you, right? Decades, maybe. Do you really need to figure all of this out right away? Do you need to have all of the answers right now, or do you need to start? Do you need to work on your artistic skill set right now? Do you need to start posting on social media, or start applying for jobs, or get that entry-level position, or finish your education, or whatever right now? You don't have to make art your job in like 6 months or 2 years or whatever. These things can take a lot of time. And frankly, I would rather you do it slow and be financially stable than put yourself in danger by trying to do it fast and dangerous, because that is not a good place to be. I think you should have healthcare. And the way that you have healthcare is by either making a lot of money as a self-employed artist, enough to pay for healthcare out of pocket. At least here in the US, healthcare is so much money. Or you work another job, and that's just what you do for a little while, where you figure stuff out. You don't have to have all of the answers right away. You just don't. I have to tell this to myself all of the time. Like, Kelsey, like, you're 23 years old. Like, you don't have to have all of the answers right now. Like, it's okay. Like, you can spend 6 months just making paintings and not releasing a print collection. That's fine. That's okay. Because I think I'm by default just a really impatient person, and it has just required a lot of effort to cultivate patience in me and like that kind of self-discipline. It's not my strong suit at all. And over the past couple of months, I've just been extremely frustrated at my art career. Sorry, I've been sick, so my voice is like not quite where it should be. I've just been really frustrated over the past couple of months because it feels like the world is like in part just like conspiring against me. Like, I really wanted to release a print collection. I was getting all the stuff ready, and then a bunch of stuff with my mom happened, and I had to like deal with some family stuff, and then the holidays happened, and then I've been sick for the past 2.5 weeks, and it feels like just the world is just really conspiring against me, and I've had to put a lot of my goals on the back burner, and it's stressful, and it feels like I'm failing myself. But all of these deadlines, they're just in my head. And if people care that I'm taking the time that I need to, then, I don't know, they're gonna care, I guess. I can't control that, but I'm not gonna work myself to death, and I'm not going to push unrealistic deadlines, and that's just important. Like, I'm gonna take the time that I need to take to do it right, and I think that is the important thing. So yeah, just give yourself the time that you need. If it's not taking off right now and you're doing all of the stuff, just keep at it, you know? Try to be very vigilant and self-aware of the areas that you could be failing, that you could be slacking off in, that you could stand to improve in. Always be really aware of that. Try to be self-critical in like a constructive way, not in a demeaning way. And then, yeah, just give it time. It'll take a while. That's okay. It just gives you more time to figure stuff out, because, I mean, my channel went really viral on YouTube over the summer, and like in like last spring, early summer, and my mental health was not great at that time. Like, that was not good for me. I wasn't emotionally prepared for that level of success. And success, really often in businesses, can be one of the leading causes for failure. You should do all the stuff. But encountering a lot of success early on can be very overwhelming. And frankly, I think it's far better to grow slow over time, gradually, and just like take all the time that you need, than try to hit the ground running and go from 0 to 100 like at lightning speed. That, I'm sure it works for some people, but I don't know, man. I don't think I have the nervous system for that. So anyway, I hope this video was valuable for you. I'm sorry that my voice is so terrible. Like I said, I've been sick for the past 2.5 weeks and I'm just now feeling better. But yeah, it was rough. There were like days where I just couldn't talk at all. So anyway, if you want to learn more about the mistakes that you could be making on social media and in your art career, I have a whole video on that. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. I wanted to thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.